Just former senior advisor to the Harris and Biden presidential campaigns, Adrian Elrod, and former Republican Speaker pro tem, Patrick McHenry. My favorite title, sir. It's nice to see you. Thanks for coming back.
Former is my favorite.
So, big picture here. Did the president make himself better off today than he was yesterday by giving that speech last night?
No, but you have to have a reset, and that is his version of a reset. His version of the reset is not like, hey, things are rough, or an admission of a current reality. It is a blaming of the past and talking about the future. It is getting on with the future that this White House needs to focus on. You have tariffs that are in place. Half of those tariff costs have been passed on to consumers so far. Half, only half, which will not be a reality. Well, but it's also not the reality of how tariffs affect. It usually goes into 2/3 to 90% of it are passed on to consumers. So you have to have a China reset that has to be negotiated by this White House. You have to have the effects of the tax extension go into place, which will start next year. You have a lot of economic potential from the deregulation that's coming. All that is in the future. This is not the year that it was realized. And right now, the economy is not strong enough for it to be a winning message for Republicans.
Can I jump in here and just say, everyone's focusing on the message. I think what we're seeing is the messenger being not the right messenger. This is not Trump 2.0. This looks like Biden 2.0, because not only are we seeing the president making the same mistakes as has been noted on the message, but this is a weakened leader. He is aging. I'm tired of being shouted at my television. He sounds like an aging man who is angry. And whatever vitality and ability he had to connect with people looks to be very, very quickly dissipating. And so what you're seeing, I think, is a replay of what happened to Joe Biden happening to Donald Trump.
So one thing that I found interesting about the speech last night, right, is Donald Trump has dominated our national political life for what, a decade at least, right?
The Trump era.
Almost a decade. Okay. This is someone who has not had trouble getting attention, redirecting the headlines the way he wants them to. And he tried to use what historically has been the most possible powerful platform a president has, right? The prime time address from the White House. And, you know, you watch the clips, right? He did a lot of blaming his predecessor. He wanted to talk about the economy. I just want to contrast that with what presidents normally use this forum for. We can take you all the way back to Richard Nixon. And just think about the difference between what President Trump wanted to tell the country last night, what that was about, and what presidents usually are doing in moments like these. Watch.
I have asked for this radio and television time tonight for the purpose of announcing that we today have concluded an agreement to end the war and bring peace with honor in Vietnam.
Today is a day for mourning and remembering. Nancy and I are pained to the core by the tragedy of the Shuttle Challenger.
On my orders, the United States military has begun strikes against al-Qaeda terrorist training camps and military installations of the Taliban regime in Afghanistan.
Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden.
So I don't know about you at home or anyone at this table. I remember where I was when President Obama made that address that we had killed Osama bin Laden. I remember who I was with. I remember the conversation. I'm not going to remember anything about where I was last night or that speech even happened, which Kristen Soltis Anderson in some ways is so telling because this is a president who typically is so good at getting attention. It does in some ways underscore this feeling that, you know, he's pretty well on the road to being a lame duck.
Yeah, it felt last night like a State of the Union on 1.5 speed, like how you can listen to a podcast a little bit faster.
I hear the kids do that.
It didn't feel...
I'm too old for that.
It didn't feel special in any way. It felt like a reiteration of a message that was ultimately not that surprising. I think it was the right topic, maybe not for let's block off the primetime address time, but I think it's good that the president is on this topic of affordability. I think there has been a lot of criticism, and justifiably so, that is he focused on the wrong issues? Is there too much focus on the ballroom, on, you know, the grievances, X, Y, and Z?